This is Franky J, and you watching FogBay TV.
Today we have on FogBay TV, legendary owner of Rag Top Records. We have OG Franky J in the house. Welcome to FogBay TV, my brother.
Man, thank y'all for having me. I'm here. You know, I don't do a lot of interviews, but
Yes, sir.
I'm at you.
That's it. Hey, OG, we generally start with family heritage and where the brothers that come on, or the sisters eventually, where they're from, their people. So please tell us, Franky J, about your family heritage.
Oh, man. I go back to my mom is from Hope, Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
My dad's people is from Birmingham, Alabama.
All right.
They got KKK buildings down there, motherfucker.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we did a lot of, in the summers, we used to go down to Birmingham, Alabama, and that's where I got my touch of the South. But I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, and I grew up my whole high school years in Boston.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about those early days of OG Franky J. Prior to our interview starting, you talked about being in the military when you were coming up and touched on a few folks in Boston. Please tell us about some of this super interesting stuff, man.
Yeah. My dad was in the Army and my mom was in the Army.
Yes, sir.
So I was naturally, I got in the military, I knew about the military, but when I was coming up, I said, you know what? When I got out of high school, the day I graduated high school, I had got caught a case for stabbing a white boy on a fight. There was racism, as far as I was concerned. But in the projects, you know, we play football with them cats down there. You know, the old school. There's a movie. There was a weekly series that came out about high schools in Boston. Boston Public. That was the name of it. That was the most racist motherfucking school anybody ever seen. You know what I mean? We used to play sports, and they used to they had police escorts to bring us to the game so there would be no fights so we can get out. So that's where I come from, in the racist ass Boston. But as soon as I could get out of there, I went in the Marine Corps. I spent 12 years in the Marine Corps, traveled overseas, Hong Kong, Japan, Philippines. You name it, I was in there. Right at the end of the Vietnam era war, and they wanted a brother to go up there and chase minefields, go up there and check minefields in the northern training area. I said, nah, that's some bullshit. I ain't doing that, man. So I ended up getting a job in supply, and that's what actually led to what I do in terms of business and stuff, in terms of getting into management and movement of supplies and inventory control and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I did 12 years in the Marine Corps. Got out, got a job at Del Monte Foods, and when that went left, I said, you know what? I'm gonna start me a rap label, and that's where my brother came to me and said, you know what? I got this artist that we could probably get together with, and that ended up being Folk.
All right, now before we move on to Rag Top Records, you and Fly and Folk, I want to stay in Boston just for a second because I just thought about something.
Yeah,
Boston gave birth to some great acts. You were OG in the game. There were folks like New Edition running around Boston. There was the Bobby Browns. There was the Whitney Houstons running around Boston. Even the Wahlbergs.
Yeah, Whitney Houston wasn't running around Boston then, because I met Bobby Brown in North Point Projects down at the Sugar Bowl. I think Bobby Brown, he was probably about 18.
Okay.
Because them niggas was wild. First of all, North Point Projects was when, if you look at your history, man, down there where they lived that was the first ones that they actually burned a white girl up in a car.
Oh, wow.
The broad came down there and stopped at a gas station. It was all on the news and shit. They burnt her and the car.
Okay.
Them niggas was not playing down here.
It was no joke.
But Bobby Brown and them, because my older sister was talking to somebody at a studio down in Roxbury, and New Edition had just got started.
Okay.
They just started doing their little thing over there. You know what I mean? And then the Wahlbergs, everybody knows, man. Wahlbergs, them white boys been up in Mattapan. or right up the street from Dorchester,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a gang of them motherfuckers. That's probably why they the Wahlbergs right now, and they really family orientated because I think I'm gonna put this down. They was broken than we was. I'm gonna keep it real.
So you said the Wahlberg, it was real ones.
Real ones. That's why right now I think people it translates because I think from my experience with them coming up and hearing about them in the game where I went through whatever else, they was always real.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see Wahlbergs and them on TV and stuff, they still real motherfuckers as far as I'm concerned.
Like that, okay.
Because I know they come from, I'm going to use the term that Foy used, they from the soil.
Like that.
And that soil was Boston.
Like that.
And I'm going to keep it real. That's why they get along. And you see them in the music industry, in the entertainment business, and the TV industry, and everything else. Ain't nobody talking down on the Wahlbergs because they gangsters.
Like that.
Their mom is even hard.
I hear you. Now.
Hey, mom, get down.
Now.
Shit.
Now.
And they selling burgers.
I hear you. Yeah, I know, man.
What you need?
I had one.
Wahlbergs, we got it.
That's right. Hey, now let's
Toast
go
to
ahead.
the Wahlbergs, for real.
Let's go ahead, OG Franky J, and let's move on to you arriving in the Bay Area. You've been assigned to the Bay Area. Tell us about those early days in the Bay Area, the jazz scene that was going on at that time. And as we continue, we'll talk about how that kind of translates into the Bay Area's golden age of hip hop.
Yeah, by the time I hit the Bay Area in the 80s, man, there was all kind of things jumping off in the Fillmore. You had, but it was a lot, it wasn't rap, but it was a lot of music. Huey Lewis, there's a lot of people coming from the Bay Area. And the Bay Area was a music, I'm not going to say the Bay Area was a music mecca.
Okay.
San Francisco, the Sucker Free, was a Bay Area mecca.
Okay.
Huey Lewis in the news. That's where, Hippie Hill and dudes talking about cannabis and smoking. They've been smoking on Hippie Hill, man, way before it got popular. So that's the era that I came in. But rap didn't come in. And generally, San Francisco got a bad rap because they talking about, oh, that's where the gays is from. Well, but see, we players. It's good.
Yeah.
We ain't hating on nobody to get their gang tight.
Yeah.
So back then, and then when rap came in from Fillmore to different places like that, it was like, okay, it's a natural indication that music should come, and especially hip hop music, should come from the Bay Area.
That's right.
Without a doubt.
That's
because we were a music mecca by itself. Now at the same time, there was drums being beaten across the bay in Oakland.
That's right.
But if you ask anybody back in then where the artists come from, they didn't tell you Oakland. They said San Francisco.
Okay.
Because that's where the clubs was at. That's where the Fillmore was at. That's where
they still calling it Harlem West back then.
Yeah. Because partly due to Fillmore Slim, which I met just like.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
Yes, Fillmore is cool as a motherfucker. Check. Fo got an award about a year and a half ago, man, as Black Music Awards. And Fillmore came walking up, man. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? He's still a cool motherfucker, right now.
How did you and Rappin' Forte hook up? Tell us about how Fly ties into that movement, the founding of Ragtop Records. So let's go forward into that information for our fan base here.
So for people that don't know, Fly is my brother.
Okay.
My biological, same mama, same daddy brother.
Okay.
I was fucking around at Del Monte Foods, and I was executive at Del Monte Foods, and I just wasn't feeling that. And I said, this ain't all I want to do. And I told my brother, I said, man, I'm going to start, rapping. And Fly came over one day, and he said, Franky J, Fo getting ready to get out of jail. I said, Fo, who's that? Nigga, Don't Fight the Feeling. He was on Don't Fight the Feeling with Short and doing the stuff. Fo been doing a lot. I said, well, bring the nigga over.
Yeah.
So one day, Fo came over with Gary. That's my brother's name, Gary. We call him Fly. And we was in my backyard. And Fo walked in, and he introduced him, and he said, this is Rappin' Forte. And I said, well, let me hear what you got to say, because I don't know nothing about rap at this point. Fo went to the side of the wall at my house and started rapping and said, I'm Rappin' Forte. And he didn't stop for like 15, 20 minutes.
Like that.
And I said, oh shit. Okay.
That's it.
Folk, check this out. I want to start a label. Let's do Ragtop. He said, I'm fucking with RTP, Ragtop Productions. That's the name of the label. So we set up the company. It's like we sat down and weeks later, whatever else, I called Fo up. Man, Fo is my son.
Okay, I got you.
Which is why over the course of my career, I could have managed this person, that person, number of other people, whatever else. But I'm the type of manager that I said, you know what? And I tell people, youngsters right now, and they say, well, Frank, what I need to do? I said, man, you need to find somebody that love you.
That's it.
Man, I ain't got nothing but love for folk. They
Okay.
ain't gonna, to the day we die. We used to ride across the bridge and talk about shit. I said, Fo, how you feeling? He said, I'm feeling this way and that way. How all our songs and stuff developed. And I didn't have no bread then.
Okay.
And I was working 9 to 5.
Yes, sir.
And so I said, you know what? We got to find some money, whatever else, and we got to go in the studio. So I started asking Fly to ask people who had some money in the game over in, because it was like dope game was moving at that point in
Yes,
time.
sir.
And everybody, not everybody, a lot of people who was in the music industry had a connection to somebody who had something that was dealing with some folding paper. It was kind of illegal. They wanted to go legal.
Yes, sir.
So you would get you a rapper.
Yes, sir.
That's the best way to do. I learned that from a lawyer friend of mine.
Okay.
If what you got is income, ain't income if you're reporting it as a business, but you could use the money. That's a whole different game. And so we couldn't get nobody to put no money up with folk. And I said, you know what, man? I got a little clout going this way. I used a little money I had, and I said, I'll come up with my own beat. At that point, I don't know nothing about doing no beats for rap or nothing else for that matter. I wrote poetry.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to learn how to make beats. I took piano lessons. And then I went down to LA one weekend, and my boy Donald Boyette, I was telling him what I was doing, and I found this rapper Forte, and he said, man, Franky J, Donald Boyette, my dog.
Okay.
He said, Franky J, fuck all that. You need to make your own music. So I came back, went up to Music People. I got a collection of stacked records, old stacked records. It was a collection kit, double CD. I think it's about 14 CDs in that motherfucker.
Okay.
And I started listening to the CDs, and I said, let me get bits from this song, bits from this song, bits from this song. And then I ran across this private numbers. Oh, that's the one. I'm gonna use that. Now I don't have a studio.
Okay.
So I'm going through the newspaper.
Yes, sir.
The paper was out at the time. I forget the name of the paper. Looking for a studio to go to. We ain't got no studio. Cause look, wasn't nobody trying to put no money on Rappin' Forte.
Okay.
Psh, we ain't fucking with him. Cause folk had a history of.
Yeah.
And I said, I ain't mad at you. So I said, I'm gonna put some money up on it. And I found that Stax record, and I said, Fo, and at the time he was in jail. And I said, Fo, I'm gonna send you this song, write something to it. The day I picked him up, we went directly to the studio.
Yes.
The long story short, I found a studio in West Oakland, which just happened to be about a block and a half away from Myrtle Street.
Yeah.
Where Short Studio was at.
Okay.
Because Ant and all them was working at Myrtle Street, but it was up the street, and it was a Filipino cat, and he was in a band. He could play, which goes back to my boy Donald telling me, Franky J, that's not your shit. You's a manager.
Yes, sir.
Stop trying to be a musician. Create beats and shit. Get you a musician. Tell him what you want, and then create it. And that's how Playaz Club came to be. When I sent the beat over the phone, he said, Franky J, what's the idea? As we did with all songs, I said, it's time for the Playaz Club, Playa.
Like that.
And we're going to call it the Playaz Club.
Franky J. OG Franky J. That walks me right in to the next question. Playaz Club. I'll be around. Forte on All Eyes on Me. What role did you play? And you've kind of already started talking about that. In songs, projects that have been very successful for Ragtop Records.
The whole circle. I'm the president of the Playaz Club. Let's keep that real.
Yes, sir.
The deal that Fly and me hooked up was for every dollar that came in, 25% was going to go to Fo. Okay. 25% was going to go to Fly. 25% was going to go to me. And 25% was going to go to the game. Because we had to get what we need to get. We need to pay hotels and and whatever we need to get on there. And the thing we had together was about, like, you can't go out there representing, I'm not no gangster, man. I don't carry guns, and I roll bolo solo. I can't be brucking Richmond, Detroit, go over here and over there worrying about some shit you said to somebody over there, and nigga, you get shot up real quick.
Yes, sir.
Especially since I was the president of the record label, I'm a target right off the top. Because I can't tell you how many niggas, when I moved from Hunters Point to Sobrante Park, how many niggas would sit up there and say, oh, that nigga from Frisco.
Yeah.
But just so happens, within 2 years of me moving over to Brookfield, I'm not Sobrante Park, Brookfield, Pooh Man moved across the street. My nigga Pooh. Yeah. I love Pooh Man. You know, that's about the time you said, "Do you get the dank?" Not did you get the dank, but what's Pooh Man's?
You talking about fucking with dank?
Fucking with dank.
Yeah.
Pooh used to come across on the mornings. In the morning, I get up, Pooh get a drink, walk across the street, sit down in front on the porch, and we drank. Shout out to Pooh Man.
Shout out.
Still, I love that nigga.
That's right.
Seen him a couple of weeks ago. I love Pooh.
That's right. Now, Forte Ragtop Records. We're talking about putting the Bay Area on the map, but particularly San Francisco, because folk coming out of San Francisco. You feel me? Y'all flexing through San Francisco.
Yeah.
Tracks going gold, hitting the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
These are huge things.
Yeah.
Signed with majors.
Yeah.
How do you navigate this?
Sucker repellent. It's a spray. It comes down and it ain't sold on Amazon. It's a game. See, you can't go in this, and this is what youngsters don't know right now in terms of things. Back then, you have to negotiate and navigate the bullshit that's in the place where you at, in the place you plan on going to.
Okay. Because
you just can't be. It's just as simple as let's break it down real simple. Let's take some few blocks.
Yes, sir.
From Fillmore to Hunters Point to Double Rock. It's not a rock throw, but you can get there that quick.
Yes, sir.
But you can't be running up over there because there's niggas over there that don't like niggas over here.
Yes, sir.
Because their cousin was associated with a bitch that was over here and a dude that was over there. And somebody said something about you was doing this and you trying, and you, man, let me tell you something. Yeah. And you trying to be a rapper. So you trying to get autographs signed, them to buy your record, you trying to get them to buy your CD and the whole little thing, and you got some conflict because some nigga said about what you said that you didn't say, that a nigga you used to fuck with said, we got a problem.
That's it. My
job as Ragtop president, I told Fo and my brother, we players. We above all that. It can't be about no bitch. It ain't gonna never be about money. That's how we got on different projects. When we signed with a major label, people said, "Well, oh man, how come Fo? I said, Fo, you can go do a song with anybody in Frisco that you want to do a song with. I ain't worried about no dollars from them. But what I want you to get from them is when you go in that studio and do 16 bars from them on they shit, like JT, San Quinn, Seth, and all the rest of them, get 8, 16 so I can use for our hustle. That's the cost. We ain't charging motherfuckers. You can't charge somebody in San Francisco rapper to get on your song. That's where 11.5 and TC and all. Nigga, that goes back to the OG code, which was early on. You just can't do that shit. Okay. And you ain't gonna survive. That don't make no sense. Yeah. Dude said, well, you on a major label, you got dollars. Even when we was on EMI, we had to go through, because I would tell EMI, I would call them up and say, we heard Forte was on a RBL Posse or Black Sea song. So what? Well, we're on the contract with you and you can't. Fuck what you talking about, man. Nigga live down the street.
That's right.
Fo is on the song with that nigga because that nigga got people, and we need to continue to get liquor, Hennessy, from that store where them niggas is at.
Yes, sir.
That's why we on that song.
So it's part of your campaign and the politic.
Yeah.
That you must do certain things.
Get in where you fit in. It goes back to the whole Bay Area scene. When you talk about the Bay Area scene in terms of people not getting together, in terms of people, why there ain't no major, people wonder.
Yes, sir.
Why there ain't no major one nigga in the Bay?
Yes.
Like Puffy. Or in New York, 50.
Yeah.
Or T.I.
Yeah.
Or
a Jay Prince or something.
Jay Prince or something. Niggas in the Bay ain't having it. You get your game.
Yes, sir.
I get my game. We get our game, and we'll get together. But if you ain't about nothing, you got to have your own shit. I've said this all along, and I said this is where the players are at, and this is where the haters is at. And if you got game, you will be recognized by the people that want to hear you. It's just that simple.
OG, I had another question for you, but what you just spit right there is something I have to explore. How do you differentiate between those players and those haters?
Sucker repellent, man. I'll tell you, it goes back to step. Look, I told a youngster the other day. He said, man, 3 dudes was walking down the street.
Yes, sir.
2 partners of yours and a friend. One of them's your brother. How about that?
Okay.
Y'all, everybody walk down the street and everybody step in dog shit.
Hey.
All right?
Yes, sir.
The person that lifts up the shoe to figure out how much dog shit he in is the person that you want to step away from. We in shit. Don't matter how much. So when you in the music industry like the youngsters now, whatever else, you understand, when we came up on the thing, you can't be afraid to go to Richmond.
No.
You can't be afraid to go to Double Rock.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to go to Brookfield, Sobrani Park, Hunters Point, wherever you need to go. Nigga, if they gonna buy your shit, you gotta go.
That's right.
And you can't be scared.
That's right.
Because everybody got choppers.
Everybody do.
They come, and you could get shot. Everybody know where you live at. It's like 50 said back in the old song, and I'm not a big 50 fan, but he said, you know where we at. What the fuck? But if you create some bullshit, you're going to get bullshit. It's like doing videos with guns and shit. I told Fo, I said, man, I don't do guns. The one song we did get, Lay Your Guns Down, is the only song we ever did, and we put guns on the album cover. I'm not trying to do a music that shoots people in the forehead. I might do one of them, but listen to the lyrics, because I'm going to tell you why I shot that nigga in the forehead. Yeah. And that's what I listen to. Whenever Fo did songs, we'd sit down and we'd take rides and stuff. He said, Franky J, what you think? I said, this way. I said, Fo, let's go old school, man. Let's keep the rhythm in there. Let's tell them the truth. Let's split some player game.
That's it.
Because that's going to be timeless, and they ain't going to have nothing to say about it. Let's spit the truth.
So what I hear you saying is that you're going to attract whatever vibe you putting out there, essentially.
That's for real. And a great example of that for me is just recently, 2 years now. There's a group down there in Southern California, ShorelineMafia.
Okay.
Youngsters.
Yes, sir.
And they're worthless. And I don't never talk down on a player is real. That's part of the OG philosophy.
Okay.
But if you ain't a player, I can talk down on you. And I can tell the truth.
Yes, sir.
ShorelineMafia came out and jacked Playaz Club.
Okay.
Then they call up and say, we want Forte on it. Wait a minute, hold on. I wasn't fucking with Fo at the time, so I immediately called Fo up and I said, Fo, what is this shit with ShorelineMafia? He said, man, I'm working with this dude and he trying to work it. I said, that's some bullshit, man. I don't think you want to associate, because I own the rights to Playaz Club.
Okay.
I still get my quarterlies.
Okay.
And they can't be jacking that because I don't like the group. When I went on the internet, every time I saw a video, they had guns, AKs, and large whops of money. Man, niggas with money don't show money on videos. Keep it real.
That's right.
Niggas with just got some money might show a wad on video, but ain't no real motherfucker. How many times you seen Pac showing a wad of cash?
How many?
That's dumb. Pac, short. Niggas don't do that, man. That's that bullshit.
That's right.
Do what you do, and we do what we do. But the reality is, the youngsters, they don't know, so you got to tell them. So I say to them, go back and look and see what you see then, and then see what you see now, and then find your place in between.
That's right. Now, OG Franky J, back to the music a little bit, and you touched on it when you said you and Fo would speak when you're riding, but the soulful samples that we have, and I go back to "I'll Be Around" because I love that track, and the player persona of Ragtop Records, and creating the whole player image, not just being players stomped down for real, but being able to project that image. What did that take to translate that image out to the public?
Man, that was real easy because Frisco is where players have been known to be at, man. That was the easy. Look, check. That was the easiest fucking thing to do because my brother Fly is a player.
Yes, sir.
Debo, all the folks of it, man, too many to name. Herm Lou.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Herm.
Niggas in Hunters Point, everybody in Frisco was a player anyway. We was about that player lifestyle anyway, getting money. And that's the difference between, see, you got a difference. There's a P-L-A-Y-A and a P-L-A-Y-E-R. Playa. They get it all fucked up. Okay. We talking about P-L-A-Y, Playa, which is a man or a female. And some of you niggas is bitches too, so let's keep it real.
Yes, sir.
But playa means an individual who can handle their business. It ain't male and female orientated. It ain't got nothing to do with bitches. It's got to do with game.
Yes, sir.
And in Frisco, because they've been downplayed in terms of hip hop, the player mentality always been, let's go to the party like we do in the Playaz Club. Shoot your mackin' at these women. Leave your gat at home. Why you, dude, I'm going to this party over there, and the first thing dude asked me the other day when we was having a little strip thing, he said, man, can I bring my gun? Nigga, stay home. What's the first thing out of niggas' mouth? Talking about we doing an event, can I bring my piece? Can I bring my chopper?
That's real.
Nigga, what's CNN then? Why is you coming? To shoot up shit? Oh, there might be niggas that might be, well, okay, don't come if you that afraid. But if you're in the Frisco game, you in the Bay Area game, and the players with regards to 40, with regards to Short, Richie Rich, EA Ski, Delinquents, man, all cats like, because when I moved out to the Bay Area and I came over to Oakland, I got a whole new thing because I was across the street from Pooh. I got closer to Short. I got I never did music with EA Ski, one of the things I would like to have rectified. But Delinquents and man, it's just like you can't be afraid to go out in the game and say, I'm who I am.
Yes, sir. And
be respectful.
Yes, sir.
Because when you go to another person's corner, whether it's on 3rd and Palouse or go down to 98th Ave in Brookfield, you got to be respectful of the neighborhood you're in and watch your back, but you keep your eyes open.
Yes, sir.
But if you do your game correctly, which is why one of my benefits, I think, is I've been able to navigate the difference between, I'm not from the Northern California. Like I said, I came from Boston out here, but I learned, I sat down, I watched, I looked, who was moving, that was moving. How do I get in to do a song with 40? How do I fuck with Dangerous Music and Chad? How do I fuck with Teddy Bohannon and them cats down there that's slinging stuff on 89th and 98th? Real niggas, Flowers. Yeah. You moved from San Francisco. You ain't no nigga. You come over to Brookfield. You coming over to Brookfield from Hunters Point, and you got selling weed down on the corner from the street where I'm at. Who's selling weed? Anthony. He got killed a little while ago, but you know, you got to figure out who you are and be respectful of where you at.
Yes, sir.
And then get in where you fit in.
That's it.
And that's the player motto. And that's really is what Playaz Club is all about. We was trying to kick it at them and tell them, leave your gat at home, kick your macking at these bitches at the Playaz Club. And we got all kind of Playaz Club. We got them in Arizona. We got them in Portland. We got them in Seattle. We got them in Stockton. We got them in San Jose. We got them in this and that. There's a Playaz Club everywhere you go. And it's not a physical place. It's a mentality, man.
Yes, sir.
That's about, man, I'm with family. And the only thing we mad about is if you ain't got a bitch, yes, you mad because dude at your bitch, then that's your problem.
That's your problem.
You should have checked her before she got the groceries. Because around here,
yes, sir, we're going to keep it that
come
way.
with your gang tight.
That's right. Now, we're going to throw back just a little bit because I'm intrigued by one thing you said about you and Fo's relationship is that you could have managed other people, but you stuck with Fo. So that tells a lot about your management style. During that process, we've touched on the majors already, but you've had to deal with the majors.
Yeah.
You've had to negotiate deals.
Yeah, buddy.
Your creative control, you kind of mentioned when they asked you about Fo jumping on albums. So tell us about the ups and downs of being that core guy, the manager.
I'm gonna tell you, I got it from my mom.
Okay.
My mom is the strongest person. She passed a couple of years back.
Rest in peace.
But she was the strongest person I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
And that was my mom.
Yes, sir.
And she told me when I was a kid, something I got later on in life or whatever else, but she would always tell me, it's like, that's why I say, you know, you get information from people that are older than you while you're coming up, and you somehow or another in the back of your brain it gets stored. And then at some point of your life, something happens. A light come on, a motherfucking car comes by fast, a nigga pulls out a gun, I don't know what the fuck. At some point, it clicks.
Yes, sir.
Nigga, I heard this shit before. And I was told what to do.
Yes.
So I knew as soon as I got in the game, I said, I know exactly what I need to do now. I need to step up. And then another thing, and I was fucking with Michael Jackson at the time, the girl that did Man in the Mirror.
Yes.
I was sitting out, me and her, we had a joint.
Okay.
I used to smoke back then. And she was telling me about Man in the Mirror, and I took that perfectly. And I tried to reflect that with regards to Fo. I turned to my brother, and I said, you got to be clear about your conversation with you in the mornings. After you take your shit, grab your nuts and say, everything is all right now, my people's all right, you ain't got no bad news, what you gonna do today?
Yes,
and
sir.
be straight with the man in the mirror. Because the man in the mirror will tell you, it's like that old saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of all?
Yes, sir.
If it always says you, motherfucker, you need a new mirror.
Like
Because
that.
it ain't about you. It's about what you get around. It's know people. So I'm not a rapper.
Okay.
So I couldn't be a rapper.
Yes.
I'm not a producer, but I couldn't be a producer.
Okay.
I knew business management and how to move business, do contracts. I did that at City College. I got my degree and I've got a secondary in contract management. I got a BA in business management and a master's degree in business management. So while I was taking piano lessons, it goes back to my boy was telling me, don't man, nigga, you was a manager. So when Fo came around and I ended up being a manager, I said, I got to take the focus that I have. So I said, you know what? But then you got to go out and learn what producers do.
Yes, sir.
Now I go in the studio. I got to either pay them dollars and learn what they do. So I learned what a producer does. When I sat down with Pac and different people and I've been around all these folks to do, I watch in the studio. I sit down and I'm silent. And I watch and I learn and whatever else.
Yes,
and I learned how to rap.
Yes, sir.
Then I learned what the engineer do. Then I learned what the videographer does.
Yes, sir.
Then I learned what the person that does the artwork does. We used to go down to shout out to old school Funky Fat Graphics.
That's
But
right.
I learned all that stuff. And then I said, I'm going to manage. And I'm going to say, I'm going to take care of all these elements. Here's what I want you to do. I said to Fo,
Okay.
be Forte.
Be full tech.
Be the player. Because I can't be the player. I'm going to take care of everything else.
So this is part of the formula.
That's the formula. You got artists that want to be managers. They want to be in this, they want to be that, and they want to be that. If you got a pool and you the only nigga at the pool, you done failed.
Gotcha.
You need to have somebody else. Who you inviting to your barbecue? And it shouldn't be motherfuckers you just met. Because if it is, you got a problem. It should be people that you knew along the way. Which is a whole nother part of the game, because you gotta disconnect people. And what you were saying with regards to navigating the game is, because if you from Fillmore,
Mm-hmm.
or you from Double Rock,
Mm-hmm.
or you from East Oakland,
Mm-hmm.
they got niggas that want to rap from East Oakland, Double Rock, or whatever else. So you come out and you say you the shit. You rapping Forte. You coming out and you the shit.
Yeah.
Niggas gonna hate. Because why your shit ain't. And then if you go across town, they mad because put me on your album. Now
Yeah.
you got to raise your deal and whatever. Call Franky J. Now they looking at me. I go to the liquor store to pick up four. They tell me,
Somebody on
nigga,
you.
why you? They don't now I'm on my ass. I travel alone, man. I ain't got no gun.
Yeah.
I got my, I'm trying to be cool, so I got to navigate
Yes, sir.
getting my pierogi sandwich, little hamburger, little shit that they sell down there in the Fillmore in the little corner store.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm coming to pick up four and I get shot and get upside the head because we got a major deal with EMI Records.
Yes, sir.
And I won't put you on the next, you won't be a feature on the next Forte song. Look, Franky J, you suck. Fuck Forte. Everybody you fucking with. Love you, bro.
Like that.
As a manager, you learn to navigate that. That's how you end up getting with. I ended up getting on Pac's song. We ended up with Snoop. Because I got him on Master P.
Yes, sir.
Everything. Because they know at the end of the day, my label and the representation that Fly, Forte, and I had we was players. We was not gangsters.
Now, let me step in just for a second, because we on the same page. Getting with Pac, getting with P, were a lot of these initial contacts just a straight player to player type thing? Hey, we're gonna do this and let's negotiate this a deal after, but it's kind of like the handshake thing, or was it more through the companies that brought that together?
No, shit happens.
Okay.
We signed with EMI, and EMI was a good company for us to sign with because we were originally gonna sign with Def Jam.
Gotcha.
Because they came out and whatever else, and I wasn't feeling Def Jam. So EMI called me up because EMI called me up and came out. At the time when EMI came up, they was gonna sign. They was interested in signing Forte, and I had already talked to the AR person. I said, well, I think you should sign JT the Bigger Figure too. So they came out. I picked the nigga up at the airport. We go back to Fly's place, and JT was supposed to come over.
Okay.
Before, as usual, came late, but he came over, whatever else. But somehow or another, I ended up talking to him, and I talked to JT after, and JT said, I ain't with that shit. And I said, well, we're going to sign with EMI. Because Priority was on the list.
Okay.
We had about 5 labels that was after Fo.
Okay.
And I messed with EMI, and I said, Fo, EMI ain't got no rappers. And at the time, they had just signed, what's the name of that mother? Man, I can't think of the name.
Okay.
It'll come to me later. I have to bring it back. But so I said, let's go with EMI because they different.
Yes, sir.
They got the wheel, and they need a rapper from the West Coast. So we ended up signing with EMI Records. But go back to the question they were saying.
That walks into your creative control. Did that change your creative control being totally independent to now you signed up with EMI? Did the creative control change?
No, the deal we did with EMI was like, so I'm going to do the records that we want to do, and then we're going to submit them to you, and then you say if you like them. If you don't like them, I'll take them off, but some of the shit's going to be on there. They were saying, well, we need him to be more like this. I said, we're going to do what we need to do. But the deal we signed with him was a deal that at the time, it wasn't as good as some of the other deals out there because we needed some cash.
Okay.
So we signed a deal where we got $500,000 per album, guaranteed 3 albums.
All right.
And we had to break that up. Remember the quarters I told you about?
Sir.
That's how the game gets built.
Okay.
And say, this is what we're using, and this is what we're using over here, and this is what you get over here, and this is what we're using for that. So, but there was numerous times throughout when we did, one of the great examples is we did the DangerousMinds soundtrack.
Yes, sir.
So DangerousMinds soundtrack came about. We was down in LA doing, I don't know what the hell we was down there doing, but we ended up going to this party that night.
Mm-hmm.
And we was on the porch, and everybody was smoking doobies, and a white girl came out with red hair and shit. She said, y'all from the Bay, huh? I said, yeah, this is Forte, and I'm Franky J, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She said, well, my name is Kathy, and Kathy Nelson.
Okay.
And I'm looking for some songs for this new movie coming out. I said, well, what's the name of the movie? She said it was My Posse Don't Do Homework at the time. And they said, what you guys doing down there? I said, well, we at the studio doing some shit with Coolio and one of the other dudes. He said, well, we're working with them to go on the soundtrack and stuff. I said, well, that's cool.
Okay.
So she said, well, submit me when you think you have some songs. So a week later, a couple of days later, I called her up. I said, well, we got a couple of songs. So she said, well, come down and have lunch with me. So I flew down to LA by myself Went to Disney Studios, went up in the big thing with the little Disney and the whole thing, and put this tape in the motherfucker. And they said, we like that song, and we like that song. And I said, well, that song I sampled Michael Jackson. I Want You Back, and this is vocals and everything. Don't worry about that. We got that covered. Cool.
Okay.
So I made the deal with them for like, I think it was like $300,000 up front, and they wanted 2 songs. EMI got wind of it and said, wait a minute, Forte is an EMI artist, so you can't get the money. That's some bullshit. Hold on.
Yeah.
The songs I gave them aren't on the album, and you paid for an album, which I gave you the album. This is shit. I got catalog shit. I got Lil Fly shit.
Yeah.
I got other shit.
Yeah,
You ain't getting no. So I had to fly to New York, but this is where I'm going to management deal, and this goes to business understanding and game understanding.
Okay.
I'm on contract with them. I really want to fuck up the contract because I need that other half $500,000 for Forte's new album.
Okay.
And I ain't trying to piss off the white boys in the AR department that ones to sit down there and say, so I tell you what, I did the same thing. Playa gang split. I did the song. Lil Fly is part of the company. You have Forte's portion, and you get 25%, and then 75% come back to Ragtop. Folks said, man, that's not bad. Folks, don't worry about that. You're going to get yours out of the 25%, whatever. They said, fine. They cut us a check for $200,000, and we left up out of New York, caught an airplane flight, got back to the house. Fo bought a Galaxy. I don't know what the fuck he bought. I gave that nigga 20 cash. He was broke the next day. I don't know what he did. But I wasn't mad at him. So that's, and that was a part of their thing. And all that is negotiation because somebody can sit up and say, well, you're on the contract and let me get a lawyer. All that's bullshit. You get a lawyer, them motherfuckers get paid hourly. Yeah, that's cool and everything. But when you're in the music industry, you got to be able to stick and move. Okay. And every dollar ain't going to be worth $1.
Okay.
And that's where that $5.
Now, not to stop you.
Okay.
Please explain what that means. Every dollar ain't $1.
So, you popping, cat down the street got a record out. He got a following, like ShorelineMafia. They got 3 million followers.
Okay.
I'm gonna put your shit out. You're gonna get introduced to 3 million followers.
Okay.
But they the wrong motherfuckers.
Got you.
So the fact that you got $5,000 to do 16 bars with the wrong motherfuckers is a negative.
Understand.
As opposed to doing the same or different 16 bars with a nigga that ain't known but is cool, and his people is cool, and his family is cool, and they don't run around shooting up shit, tearing up shit. It's 16 bars over here, 16 bars over there. Which one you want to take? I used to make Fo sit down and say, how you feeling? And I used to talk to him about, like, we used to ride around, man, talk, cry, all kinds of shit, man, with women, everything. As you go through life, that was my homie.
Yes, sir.
It was my best friend, which is why I didn't manage too many other people because I was tied to him.
Yes,
it goes back to when I was, P asked me to manage, what was going on with No Limit.
Okay.
And I said, man, I had love for P, man. That's my nigga.
Okay.
For real.
Master P. Shout out to P again.
Yeah. We went through a lawsuit with EMI. I sued EMI. I sued a bunch of motherfucking people. So I called Master P up one day. I said, man, I'm in a situation, man. They holding my money because the dude they was holding my money. Watch this. Remember, I told you that I didn't have a recording studio to do Playaz Club, right?
Yes, sir.
I found a dude in the newspaper that was charging $25 an hour to do studio time.
Okay.
He was recording in his bathroom. He happened to be a musician, and that's where I went. It cost me $150 to record Playaz Club in his bathroom. Okay. Wine. 4 years after that nigga sued me. I paid him hourly.
Yeah. He
sued me for copyright infringement. Said I didn't pay him the money. But I'm
sorry.
We was in federal copyright court downtown with the old school white boys, the old school white men. You go in federal, let me tell you something. Federal copyright court ain't no punk ass shit.
Okay.
They got marble floors on there and cats over there at 90 years old. And they got a black robe on, they don't give a fuck.
I hear you.
You come up here talking about I'm copywriting them on it. You got to go holler at them.
Okay.
And we had to go holler at them, and they held my money up. For the same dude that I paid $150 that was in a newspaper trying to create his studio, and I brought Playaz Club to him and he created that I had given him. We won the case because I showed him the check where when we got our publishing deal, I gave the motherfucker $25,000 in a check. Because Franky J, I write checks. I don't sign autographs, I write checks. You fuck with me, I'm giving you a check.
That's right.
Or if I give you cash, there's going to be a photo of it that I gave it to you. Because I'm a Judge Judy fan. I don't give a fuck. Evidence is everything. So let that be the reason. But that goes back to exactly what I'm saying about being able to stick and move in the game. Circumstances will come up. And you can't go running down. I'm not a shooter. You can't go running down. I ain't got no gangsters running around and got people that kill you and do all that. Oh, yeah, man, I ain't killing nobody. I'm a businessman. And you got to be able to step left of the bullshit, which one of the albums we call Bigger Than the Game.
Yes,
if you're not going to be bigger than the game, you shouldn't get in the music business.
Can you say that one more time, sir?
If you're not going to be bigger than the game, you don't need to be in the music business. Because it ain't about no bitches, it ain't about you, it ain't about nothing. It's a game out here. And you got to figure that no matter what comes out or how it happens, that you're going to survive whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
A plane goes down. I always tell people, man, the plane went down. Franky J was flying from Oakland to Portland. And there was 16 people on the plane. The plane went down. And my son would say, let me call my dad. Because it was one survivor, I'm going to be on that plane. And if you're going to go in the music industry, that's how you got to see yourself.
Okay.
That's how I see myself in life. Okay. No matter what I go into, I'm going to be successful at it. Because I'm not afraid of it. And it ain't about dollars and it ain't about cents. It's about what you want to be. And it goes back to the man in the mirror thing. Yes, when you focus on what you want to be, then you can become what you want to be. And that's your shine, man. Can't let nobody steal that.
And that walks me into, and I got plenty of questions for you. And thank you for everything you're sharing with us. That walks into the OG perspective of work-life balance. When you talk about the man in the mirror and being real with yourself, it seems like that's going to be real with you whether you're doing music or not. That's a lifestyle for you, right?
Yeah, I got to survive. I was slapped on the ass, and most recently, I think about, I don't know, and I do that because I got my birth certificate in my office, in my studio, on the wall. I double framed it. And it said Negro. I'm a black man living in a game that's fixed.
Yes, sir.
I got to learn that when I came from Boston, when I went in the military, when I went in corporate America, when they told me you ain't gonna get out of, you ain't gonna be shit from high school, and when they said I want to be a music producer, I want to be a rapper, I want to be anything, I want to get a record label, you're not gonna be able to create a record label. Fuck you.
Yes, sir.
Ain't no way in the world I'm not gonna be successful at whatever I choose to do because I look in the mirror and say, ain't nobody here to stop me. All you need is a team to get out there. And the hardest part is negotiating with the people that you need to help get along the way.
Okay.
And disconnecting yourself from the people that's going to stop you. And that's most immediate. It's like stepping in the dog shit and figuring out how much shit you in. Don't matter.
You in it.
You in it. So you got to navigate. How much doesn't matter. So during the course of my career, I've been blessed to the degree that world has taught me, my grandmother taught me, my mother taught me, my dad taught me with his sorry ass. He taught me another way. That's the way I am with my son, my granddaughters. And when I met artists, when I got with Tupac, when I got with 40, Short, and all the people I've come in contact with in the music industry, Rick James, Rick, shout out, rest in peace for my dog Rick. Me and my girl stayed with Rick when we did Fold got hooked up with Rick because Rick, when he got locked up, his cellmate was D Brown from Frisco.
Okay.
So D Brown happened to get locked up. What's the chances a homie from the town that was bumping Forte, one of the partners, gets locked up in the federal penitentiary and he get locked up with Rick James?
Wow.
He bumping shit from Frisco. Rick James here Forte. Rick James get out. D Brown called me, said, Rick want to see y'all. We fly down to Rick James. We stay down there for 2 weeks.
Like that.
Fucking with Rick. I asked Rick one night, man. We was in the studio. We did the song. We did Cold Blooded. So we in the studio, man. Rick sitting there talking shit. This is real shit.
Okay.
This ain't nobody ever know this. I say, Rick, nigga, I heard y'all had that broad tied up in the back in the thing. He said, yeah, man.
Wow. Wow.
I'm not even I can't even repeat what I said, but they tied that broad up. It was a hooker from LA. Probably that OJ, running that OJ shit. Because they was running, them white girls running stupid down there, motherfucker. And they had some coke, they was out into space. Rick said,
cocaine was one hell of a drug, huh?
Rick was a fool. You know, and then after we got together on there, we did a couple of shows in Sacramento with Rick James, and I met Eddie Murphy through Rick James, and I went down to Rick James' party, and she was fucking with Donnie Hathaway's daughter or whatever else. Okay. And then I called my boy because I was friends with like Donald Boyette through the Michael Jackson thing, but Donald was best friends with George Duke, Ricky Larson. Yes, sir. These is drummers. These are musicians. On the Arsenio Hall show, the drummer, Ricky Larson. Okay. Donald Boyette. These cats, you know, that whole music industry, yes, whatever, you know, I don't know if that answers the question, but that's kind of funny that bring that up, man. It's real good.
Now, OG Franky J.
Yes, sir.
Offline during our break, you were telling us a bit about sitting down with Michael Jackson's dad, Joe Jackson.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we did the Dangerous. We was fucking with Coolio at the time, and we went down to L.A. and they had this song they needed to do, and they wanted it on the. At that time, the movie was called "My Posse Don't Do Homework." It ended up being Dangerous Minds.
That's right.
And I worked out a deal, but Disney wanted the song to put 2 songs on the album, and one of the songs I did was of Michael Jackson, "I Want You Back," and I had sampled and looped on the SP1200 Michael Jackson. Yeah. Now hold on, man. We are rappers from the Bay Area. We ain't got no platinums, motherfucker. We ain't got nobody behind. Nigga, history lesson.
Yes, sir.
Research how many motherfucking rappers in the game looped and played and rapped to a Michael Jackson beat. Nigga, Franky J. Forte. And that was because I fucked around and got hooked up with Joe Jackson through Rick James. So we went down and talked to Joe Jackson, and he sat across from me and told me he called me all kind of things that I can't mention on this thing. And I know this ain't a family channel, I can really cuss, but I don't even want to speak about that because that would be hearsay. But he pretty much said, "You out your motherfucking mind?" And I said, I said, "Can I get a percentage or something?" The motherfucker told me, he said, "You know what? I'm fucking with you."
Like that.
How about 25% back in? Like where do I sign? I got back to the Bay. I told Fo, I said, "Fo, I just met with Joe Jackson. The Michael Jackson is good, which means we can get the check from Universal and Disney because they was paying us $150. They paid $150,000 for the fucking song, and it was a Michael Jackson "I Want You Back" beat. Okay. Straight looped. Looped. No new shit. Nothing there. What you call it. We got 150 grand. He said, "What we get?" 25% back end. Good. Quiet as kept. 2020, let me speak to you. I think I got 2 checks. One was for $30,000 back in the day, and I think I got another check for $5,000. I ain't seen no parts of the other 25%.
Oh wow!
But now I'd be wrong, but I'd be right because I got the paper. I keep paper. My name is Franky J, and I do business, so I got the paperwork. I called Joe Best State and said, "Wait, hold on, nigga. Where did the 25% back end go?" But that's the hustle. You take a little money, you get a little money, and you step off. You get in where you fit in.
Yes, sir.
I was blessed to get 150. I think we got 150 to 200,000 for that song. Not only did that end up going triple platinum, but watch this. The song Gangsta's Paradise went triple platinum, and we had 2 songs on the soundtrack. Check your history, check your record books. How many niggas put out on a hit triple platinum album and got 2 songs on the album? One we own and one we had to do a deal with. And then we got 25% back in. So fuck what you talking about. That's business.
That's business.
Stick and move.
That's it.
That's how we do it in the Bay.
And walk into the next question. We want to kind of, we're getting to the point where we're wrapping up, but I think this is an important one. Out of all the business you've done, all the deals, negotiations, handshaking, meeting people, who is that one person that stands out for you, that special person?
It's not. It's really not. It's one. It's an
Multiple.
Accumulation.
Okay.
It's multiple.
Okay.
It's Russell Simmons.
Wow.
The day after we got signed at EMI, we was over at what the hell's the name of the agency? They wanted to sign us to an agency, and Russell Simmons. We were sitting in the lobby with Russell Simmons.
Okay.
Fo was doing something else. I don't know. Fo was always off doing some other shit, whatever. So I was sitting down there making the deals, and I sat down with Russell Simmons, and we had a conversation about 15, 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And it was just the easiness of the conversation. It was a conversation I had sitting down with George Duke at a session when he was doing some music. He was talking to Ricky Lawson, drummer for the Arsenio Hall Show, and it was sitting down talking Stevie Nicks. I actually smoked a joint back in the day with Stevie Nicks.
Wow.
Now, see, black people, y'all don't understand. Stevie Nicks was a white bitch. No, that's disrespectful. Can't call her a white bitch. Stevie Nicks was fat. And Dave Cos talking to George Duke and sitting down. The evening I sat down and my girl will testify to this. I was sitting down in the studio 11 o'clock at night, and I had a conversation with Rick James about the game and about the old school, the pimping and the whole thing and the hoes. I learned about everybody. It's those little tidbits I got from them that sat down because they knew I loved Fo, and they knew who Fo was, and they could see his heart, and they said, stay with him, Franky J, no matter what. And I said, I love that nigga. There ain't no way in the world I don't. So I'm gonna do everything in my power to see that he's successful and to find out that we're successful. Because when we started in the music business, this was about rent money. It wasn't about being famous. Because Fo and I came out really early, and I said, nigga, you want plaques, you want money, and you want fame. Since you're gonna rap anyway, I said, let's get some money and get some fame. And it's like what people do now. They want to be famous in Detroit. They want to be famous in Houston. They want to be famous in Atlanta. They want motherfuckers in Miami to understand it. But you causing disrespect down on your street corner. You're not going to be famous in them places, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in Shreveport, in Houston, in Dallas. Because believe this or not, all these youngsters coming up, they people ain't from here. They people are from Dallas, Houston, Shreveport, Hope, Arkansas, Blevins. They go as far as Montana. They go as far as Birmingham, Alabama, Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City, Alabama. All them places. If you pump in the Bay, they gonna hear you in them other places. Which is why right now I just released a thing and we successful over it. Right now, songs that we did 15, 20 years ago is still being played over in Europe. When I get my royalty statements, I'm fascinated to see how many motherfuckers is still playing. Just because I call you a bitch don't mean I don't love you. That's incredible to me. It was a song that my wife, when I was married, didn't necessarily like, but I loved the song because Forte put it down in that lyrics. If you listen to the lyrics of that song, just because I call you a bitch don't mean that I don't love you. It's real if you listen to why I called you a bitch.
Yeah.
So that goes back to what I say about young people right now and the atmosphere right now. It's reading with comprehension. If you can't comprehend what I'm talking about, then don't listen to what I'm talking about. Right. You're not going to be able to understand what I'm talking about. These youngsters, or not call them youngsters, or the people right now in the music industry is coming out, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. They talking about shit they heard about, not what they know about. If you ask a quarter of them, how much do you take? Nigga, I just got a pound of coke and 2 pounds of weed. How much can you break it down, and what's the quantity that I need to put in each bag, and what's the weight per bag, and what I'm going to get per quantity? Niggas don't know math. The comprehension level is out of whack. They talk about what they heard, not what they know. But if they talk to their fathers, their mom, their grandfathers, and they between 30, 40, 50, some of them 60, they'll tell you what they know because they was there. Yeah. These motherfuckers don't know nothing. All they know is like internet and TikTok, and this is the shit. Which goes back to that Drake shit. He got $100,000. I believe that. Fuck you, man. And as a manager and a person that can foresee where it can go and want to represent the Bay Area to the fullest, because this is where I live, this is where I'm going to drink, this is where I want to see celebrate, it's up for me, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to fuck around. And one of my things I haven't done in the past that I'm going to rectify is me and TC going to hook up and do a gangster beat.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir. From the Yay. We coming from San Francisco. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. When me and TC hook up on a song,
that's it.
Nigga holler.
That's it. Well, OG Franky J, man, we thank you so much for coming through the FogBay.
Pleasure, man.
We are honored to have you, man. We have enjoyed you. You got to come back. We already talked about that. And, man, we just want to say thank you from FogBay TV.
Yeah. Thanks, FogBay TV, for having me. And whenever you call, you got the number, digits. See what I'm going to do? It's because right now, me and Fo is going between this and that. We got a relationship going on. We disagreeing on shit. But I'm about to bring Forte back.
Right.
Bring Bay Boy back. And like I told Fo the other day when I talked to him on the phone, I said, nigga, you is king of San Francisco. I don't give a fuck whether nobody say nothing. Fo is the nigga from Frisco. We in the Bay Area Hall of Fame.
That's it.
We got the only nigga from the Bay that got a Bammy Award. The only nigga from the Bay that got a rap video Grammy nomination. We've been on Only God Could Judge Me, the Playaz Club, 8 Ball, 40, Yuck Mouth, Snoop, Short, any motherfucker that came up in the game.
Real factors.
Forte been on the thing. I've been the manager sitting behind that, but my nigga been spitting. Never talk down on a player.
That's it.
And we players.
That's it.